Hello, everyone. We'll be starting shortly. Thank you for joining us. Okay, welcome everyone to our 20th anniversary celebration, our year in review, and our awards ceremony today, Engage. My name is Dr. Tujan Rahal, and I'm the President and CEO of Engineering World Health. We are very excited to have you all here, and we are very excited to share with you everything we've accomplished this year. So with that, let's get started. So Engineering World Health focuses on a lot of different things, but today one of our big highlights is our summer institutes. And this was sort of the foundation for how we started trying to address the unmet need for providing hospital repair or equipment repair in hospitals in low resource areas. And so we figured what better way to share with you how we started in our story than to bring our co-founder, Dr. Bob Malkin, to present on it. So he will be speaking about EWH and how it was founded 20 years ago. Dr. Malkin?
How about now? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, wonderful.
Great, that's better. Thank you everybody for coming today. It's really a pleasure to be here with you 20 plus years. In fact, EWH actually started conceptually in 1993 when Dr. Mohammed Kiani and myself got together and said, you know, we can help. We had both had experience in resource poor settings and we said we can help and students can make a difference. We tried for about 6 years to get the professional societies to sponsor the activity. We felt that, you know, this is a role for professional societies to take on. So the two of us for years went to board meetings, presented concepts, proposals, and white papers to multiple professional societies, and we were always rejected. Everyone said no. So our second choice was now in maybe the mid to late 90s, we said, well, okay, let's try the universities. You know, the universities should take on service as a part of their activity. It's not a core activity, perhaps, for a university, but we felt it was an appropriate activity. And they said no. Neither the university that Mohammed, Dr. Kiani, was primarily appointed, which was the University of Tennessee, nor the university where I had my primary appointment, the University of Memphis, was willing to take on this activity. And so we decided in the late 90s and actually in 2000 that what we needed to do was start a separate company. And that took a while for us to get the pieces together, but in 2001, I approached a lawyer to say, okay, you know, here's our business plan, here's what we're thinking of doing, please start a company. And his reaction was, do you have any idea how to run a company? I said, no, not at all. Is that a problem? And he said, yeah, that's a problem. Go find somebody who can help you run a company and then come back to me. So in the mid 2001, I tapped Kathy Peck. Kathy was at the time helping me find live-in babysitters for my children, but she agreed to be part of the founding board of Engineering World Health and was the one who really brought some business sense to what we were doing. And then in late 2001, we finally incorporated, and in 2002, obtained our federal nonprofit status, 501c3 status. And it's been 20 years. So it's been 20 years since we started the activity. Actually starting with chapters. So we started with student chapters at the University of Memphis. At that time, it was easy to get broken or even simply used equipment that was working. But we very quickly found out that just providing equipment to hospitals did very little. When the equipment arrived, most of it would not ever reach a patient. And so the Summer Institute was the next piece that was added, and has continued to this day, as well as the chapter activities. It's been deeply rewarding to be able to be a small part of EWH over these 20 years and to continue to see the growth of the summer activities, the Summer Institutes, ranging from originally 2 students at 1 hospital in Nicaragua to now students all over the country, all over the world, reaching many, many hospitals, and not only even in the summer, as well as chapters, going from 2 students that were in one of my classes at the University of Memphis meeting once a month to chapters all over the world, and many, many more projects. But mostly what I wanted to do, given that I had a few moments to speak to you all, mostly what I wanted to do is thank you all. The support of everyone in the EWH community has made a difference, has made a huge difference to those of us that have tried to build the corporation and the entity, the nonprofit, up from 0 to a thriving program and project and company and nonprofit that helps people all over the world. So my main message, and I hope the message you can take away, is thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Malkin. Thank you for starting EWH, and thank you for your joining us today and sharing this message with us. And I want to reiterate as well that thank you everyone for your support. And with that, let's jump in and show you all what we did for the Summer Institutes this year. We had 4 programs running, and our Senior Projects Manager, Megan Lavery, will share with you more about what we did.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again. So once again, my name is Megan. I'm a Senior Project Manager with Engineering World Health. So I'm going to talk with you for a minute about our Summer Institute programs that ran this past summer. So for anyone less familiar with these programs, they're typically 2-month-long service learning experiences where we bring university students and young professionals in the STEM fields to repair medical equipment with us in low-resource hospitals around the world. So as you can see, this year we worked in 4 countries. We worked in the Dominican Republic, Guatemala, Rwanda, and Nepal. And we can actually play a video for you with a little bit more info about the institutes here. So basically, the intention behind the Summer Institutes is to repair critical medical equipment in low-resource hospitals, all while offering engineering and STEM students the opportunity to continue learning about medical devices, the limitations in healthcare, and to further develop out their practical skills. So many of the hospitals around the world rely on donated medical equipment, and unfortunately, much of this ends up, even just after a couple of years, completely out of use. So things like infant incubators, oxygen concentrators, patient monitors, and other really critical medical equipment ends up in graveyards, which is where our students jump in. So this year we hosted 15 volunteers in the Dominican Republic, and they were able to repair an impressive 135 repairs. Similarly, volunteers in Rwanda made 138 repairs valued at $276,000, which is a pretty staggering amount. In Guatemala, we had 17 volunteers make 209 repairs estimated at $418,000. And then finally, also in Nepal, we had 13 volunteers repair 169 pieces of equipment for an estimated value of $338,000. So across all 4 countries that we worked in, and 23 hospitals, we had 68 volunteers repair 651 pieces of critical medical equipment this year. In total, that was estimated to be worth about $1.3 million that is instead going towards treating patients in need. So that's a really incredible amount and something that we're really, really proud of for this group this summer. And if you have further questions about the Summer Institutes, I definitely encourage you to check out our website. Come talk to me in the breakout sessions after our presentation, because this is a really big part of what EWH does. So one of the most exciting and promising elements of the Summer Institutes, in my opinion, is also that they include both international and local students. I am ahead of where I thought I would be in the video, but basically we had students both internationally and locally participate in the Summer Institutes. So in Guatemala, we had 5 Guatemalan students from UVG in our program, and in Rwanda, we had 10 students from IPRC, Kigali. All of those students were local to the countries that we were working in addition to a couple dozen international students that we had participating in those countries. And all of that is made possible by our Lynn Toby Fisher Scholarship Fund. So Lynn Fisher was a board member who believed greatly in EWH's mission and connecting students from our host countries with our international students who are participating in these programs. And after her passing, the Lynn Toby Fisher Fund was supported or was developed to support this goal. So that is something that we really, really appreciate and that we want to continue growing as part of our EWH programs. So, and finally, on the note of student engagement, we want to take time to recognize an individual with an incredibly long history with EWH. We'd like to award this year Dr. Larry Frito with a brand new honor from EWH as our Instructor of the Year. I've personally worked with Larry, and I think he spent a whopping 15 years working with EWH, teaching our students. He's so full of knowledge. He always brings joy into the classroom, and I honestly can't think of a better person to recognize with this this year. And I think Larry's with us here.
I'm here.
Hey, Larry. So you don't have to say anything, but we definitely want to recognize your service in Guatemala this year, as well as over the past 15 years. So once again, thank you so much for everything that we did. And we actually have Zach, who is a student from your program, who's able to talk about his experience with you. So thank you again, Larry. It's always been a wonderful experience personally working with you. And it's just a great honor. So Zach, do you want to talk for a minute about your experience in Guatemala? I know Larry was your instructor there.
Oh yeah, sure, I can talk. Hi, my name is Zach D'Agostino. I live in Portland, Oregon. I'm going to school at Portland Community College for biomedical technology. I have a background in audio electronics, and right before the pandemic, kind of decided I wanted to start transitioning that information into the medical field. It was, speaking of Larry, it was really fun going and spending the first month learning about different ways of approaching electronics, different types of equipment. And it became clear through learning with Larry that a lot of these experiences, or a lot of the way that you learn in these situations, is through experiences. And it was really helpful to have somebody who had so many stories, so many cool photos of broken things and also weird parts of the world. And so that was absolutely invaluable. And this year, Megan had mentioned about the local students, the UVG students in Guatemala. Having those students in class with us was absolutely incredible. Not only just for Spanish learning for me, but cultural experiences, being able to talk about different slang, different ways of understanding. I learned a lot from them, and it was cool to be able to share because they had all kinds of questions, and it was super invaluable. And I think that made that program, at least it seemed like it made it very special and unique. This year was different than I think past years because of the pandemic. So we were in a instead of a homestay individually, we were all in one big group in a hostel or hotel with a host family that was truly wonderful and so sweet. And it actually turned out to be really, another invaluable experience. Basically, they were so friendly and so gracious to us, and really opened us up, and we learned a lot from them. And when we split off into different groups, I went off to Hospital Jose Felipe Flores in Totonicapan, which is more the rural locations, I'd say. And that experience was really, really incredible. I had a great time kind of learning to take the microbuses and travel around and explore and find ways to engage with the city and the location. I had spent some time in Shela before this program, so when we returned to Shela for the first month, I had some familiarity with it, and it was really cool to finally spend more time outside of Shela and go to different places. And Totonicapán was a really interesting hospital. there was definitely some interesting things I learned as with regards to how the bureaucracy can work within a hospital, how there are exceptions and more details that you need to in order to just rather than just walking in and making repairs. Like I kind of I thought I would just waltz in and just change everything, but there's a lot more nuances, a lot more. Had to learn to interact with the staff a lot differently, and that was some really awesome insight. And I had a lot of help from my my coworker or partner Jessica, who luckily is much better at Spanish than I am. And so yeah, we basically were able to fix a bunch of stuff, and it took some time to like get the staff to know us and to become familiar with us. And then by the last week, they gave us a crazy project that to install a call box into one of the departments, and the whole plan was to design this circuit. So you press a button, the patient can press a button, and it will contact the front desk, which is a very normal service that we see all the time in hospitals, but they hadn't had it installed in 20 years. It had broke, and no one changed it or fixed it. So we had to go into an old system of wiring and figure out what the wiring was, and then we designed a circuit all in like 4 days. And yeah, even now we're talking to Lucia, the person who is the head of inventory there, and she wants us to make instructions and manuals for future students to go back, or basically in hopes of being able to install this throughout the entire hospital. So it was really cool to be able to be given that project and the opportunity to even make kind of an impact in that way. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. There's tons more that I can talk about, but yeah, if anyone wants to stick around later at the end of the meeting, be down to share more stories and talk about like washing my clothes in the Pila, which was a crazy experience and really fun. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Zach. And additionally, for any students interested in joining next year's institutes, our applications for 2023 open up on October 1st. So definitely please sign up for our newsletter to receive any updates, and keep an eye open on our webpage for more info. You can also follow us on social media, and both Zach and I will be in the breakout rooms at the end of this for anyone interested in talking more about the summer institutes. So next up, we have Susan, who's going to talk a little bit more about our next stage here.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. As I'll echo Tujan and Megan, we're very grateful that everyone is here. My name is Susan. As she mentioned, I'm the Institute's project manager at Engineering World Health. So I work on our virtual programs, and also I help Megan with our Summer Institute programs. I will start by giving just a brief recap of the virtual programs that we have completed this year. We ran 6 programs in total in the virtual space. I'll start with the Vontier Virtual High School Design Competition, and we'll be announcing the winners for that competition momentarily, which is very exciting. So in this competition, high school students from across the country were presented with challenges based on healthcare delivery in low-income areas, and their task was to create a solution to help solve that problem. So we'll hear more about what they came up with shortly. I also wanted to mention our virtual engineering, innovation, and cultural exchange. This is a virtual program sponsored by the Stevens Initiative. It was the second summer that we were running this program, which was an exchange program between students in the United States, Lebanon, and Jordan. And we graduated 116 students from that program this summer. Lastly, I wanted to mention our programs with UNSW Sydney in Australia and our wonderful partnership with them. We were able to offer 4 different programs for UNSW students in collaboration with students in Cambodia and Uganda. So now I am very excited to have a few of our winners present of the virtual high school design competition. I really want to thank Vontier Corporation for sponsoring this program. We're very grateful for their support. And with that, I would like to welcome our 3rd place winners from FAIRMONT Preparatory Academy, Team HUSKYvation. We'll give them a minute to get set up.
Yeah. Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Sounds great. Well, good afternoon and good morning to all my teammates here on the West Coast. Our team's original plan was to design a non-invasive test for leishmaniasis using optical imaging but unfortunately, we couldn't pursue that path because of technical and logistical issues, which led us to begin our research regarding the Dominican Republic and its lack of available distilled water, which Rashawn can expand on.
So we worked together as a team collaboratively to research, and we found many problems and we tried to fix them so we could develop a feasible product. And to do that, we evaluated the hot and humid environment of the Dominican Republic, and also bagasse, which is an abundant resource, which is sugarcane waste product.
Our design consists of two chambers. Water in the first chamber absorbs energy from the sun and the combustion of the gas below. We chose an optimal slope cover such that the condensed water droplets from the first chamber would move down the slope plexiglass cover into the second chamber, where the distilled water could be collected for use.
Through this competition, we realized the importance of practicing empathy. We wanted to emphasize being empathetic for the end user, so we decided on utilizing readily available materials in that area. We also hope to further our engineering skills to open up more possibilities for our future projects.
We want to thank Ms. Lavery and Ms. Hyman for giving us this great opportunity to work with a challenge that we were unfamiliar with. We also want to take this time to recognize our teacher, Ms. Leslie, who gave us unwavering support and much needed criticism. Without her, we would not have been able to complete this challenge.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And now I am happy to announce our second place winners who have submitted a short video as their acceptance speech, and that is Anna Beck and Eleanor Lewis.
Hi everyone! In this competition, Eleanor and I developed CoolBride, a cooling device which would harness the power of evaporative cooling, as well as the endothermic reaction of ammonium nitrate to cool medical supplies during transport. We targeted this product for use in Saharan Africa, although it would be effective in any warm and dry climate. As part of this, we went into the project keeping cost, accessibility, durability, and waste in mind, as seen in how the cooler can function using only water, contains visual instructions, has a simple design without any fragile electronics, and uses ammonium nitrate, which after use can be used as a crop fertilizer.
In the end, we both learned a lot about the process of engineering, as well as how we can blend our respective fields, the arts and the sciences, to design a solution like this. We'd like to thank Ms. Hyman for all of her encouragement and for organizing the competition so elegantly and thoughtfully. We'd also like to thank Ms. Lavery and Ms. Moore, the judges, for their comprehensive and genuinely constructive comments on our project. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for submitting that video, Anna and Eleanor. And finally, our first place winners, who also have a brief video to start from one of their teammates, and then we'll hear from the rest who are in attendance. Also from FAIRMONT Preparatory Academy, Team HUSKY INNOVATE.
I would like to thank Ms. Hyman and Ms. Lavery for hosting this competition. We also couldn't have done it without the help of our mentor, Ms. Leslie, for guiding us throughout the project. Submission and are lucky to have this win reflect the effort and teamwork we put in.
Wonderful. And we'll hear from the rest of their teammates now.
Okay. So we decided to tackle the challenge of improving oxygen tank security in Ugandan hospitals and clinics. This challenge was a physical challenge, and we decided to choose this one because we thought we had more experience with the engineering aspects over other aspects like dealing with chemicals or biology. So our solution looked mainly at protecting the oxygen tank valve, as well as giving the body a more easily stackable shape in both a horizontal and vertical position. We also strove to make our design optimal and feasible, while also minimizing the labor and manufacturing costs.
We learned so much from this project, and we will cherish it because it's really one of our most fun experiences of high school. We learned how to observe designs that are ordinary to our daily lives, but then kind of pick them apart and then integrate them into our design. Incorporated so much research, and we did our best to connect with those that are affected by the issue.
Overall, I think this was a really important experience for us, and I think we will continue to apply what we've learned in the future. We were granted a really amazing opportunity to experience what it's like to design a solution that could improve the world and have lasting impact on people's lives. Once again, we are so grateful for the opportunity that this competition has given us for our team to grow. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that acceptance speech. And thank you to all of our students for your participation. We were very impressed with all of your submissions. Thank you also for taking the time out of your school day to be here with us today. We really appreciate that. And again, lastly, a big thank you to Vontier for their generous support. And with that, I will hand it off to Cozy Brents, our operations coordinator.
Thank you so much, Susan. I think I can speak for and echo what Susan said and speak for the EWH team that was really exciting to see the excitement from the high school design competition. And as our college chapter coordinator, it makes me really excited to see high school students who are interested in biomedical engineering and who might further pursue this and bring a chapter to your future university. So I just wanted to take another moment and really thank y'all for your participation. Excellent. So my name is Cozy Brents. I'm the operations coordinator at Engineering World Health. I joined EWH back in January, and it's been an amazing experience so far. I've had the honor and opportunity to oversee our college chapter and KITS program. So our college chapter program, currently we have 30 chapters across 11 different countries with over 400 members. And where we see our chapter program continuing to grow, and we're continuing to enrich that program to have our chapters connect with other chapters to expand and encourage collaboration in the global biomedical engineering community. And something that we like to do annually, which we got a little preview of, is honor one of our chapters of the year. So each year we like to recognize one of our chapters for their sustained efforts furthering the mission of Engineering World Health. This year, the winner of the 2022 EWH Chapter of the Year competition was selected based off of exemplary performance in community outreach, fundraising, and education efforts. This chapter hosted successful outreach events with local youth centers. They held kit soldering workshops for engineering students using Engineering World Health kits, as well as invited medical professionals to their campus for speaking engagements. This chapter serves as an excellent model of how we hope all EWH chapters are able to inspire, educate, and empower the biomedical engineering community. And with that being said, it is my honor to award the University of College Dublin with the 2022 Engineering World Health Chapter of the Year Award. And we do have Aisling Kelly here from UCD to accept the award on behalf of that chapter. Aisling, are you with us?
I'm here. Thanks, Emil Cozy. Hi, my name's Aisling. I'm currently studying my master's in biomedical engineering, and I'm the outgoing president of EWH from University College Dublin. Thank you so much to EWH for awarding us the Chapter of the Year award. This is our second year in a row winning it, and we're delighted to have built even more on what we did last year. Some of our highlights, Cozy went over them there, but some of my favorite highlights from this past year included we hosted our first ever EWH UCD Bowl, which was a huge success. We did a lot of outreach challenges with youth centres and secondary schools in and around Dublin. We hosted 2 soldering workshops, and we purchased a 3D printer, which we're excited to get up and running next year. We had guest speakers such as Dr. Pierre Goussard from South Africa and Nurse Stevie Kanyama from Zambia, which were also brilliant. We'd like to thank our academic advisors and our sponsors, ResMed and Stryker, for their continued support, both through fiscal means and through the useful workshops they've given us on things such as product development in the biomedical engineering industry. Thank you again, and I look forward to seeing what the new committee will get up to next year.
Thank you so much, Aisling. And another one of our favorite competitions that we have our chapters engage in each year is our design competition. So this really builds off of our inaugural high school design competition we held this year, where we challenge our university chapters to create and explore challenges faced by doctors and biomedical technicians in low resource settings. So this is our 13th annual design competition, and we had 11 judges review 14 proposals from 10 different universities across 4 different countries. Some notable past entries to the design competition have included an automated leukemia detector, a breast pump to help reduce mother-to-child HIV infections, and an uninterruptible surgical lamp. So it is really my pleasure to introduce the winning teams for the 2022 design competition. Our third place finisher created a low-cost portable adaptometer with no disposables to be used in potential screening for vitamin A deficiency in children over 5 and pregnant women. Congratulations to the VEAT-ADAPT team from the University of College Dublin, and I'm going to welcome Aisling right back to accept on behalf of BCD again.
Thanks, Cozy. We've been really proud to represent UCD at such a high level in this great competition. We want to give a special thanks to some people who helped us. So that's Hilary Dempsey, Lucia Dalton, and Emma McConnell, who are all optometrists, Dr. Brenda McGrath and Dr. John Healy, who also helped, Leo Downs and Neve McCann, our academic advisors, Stephen Redmond and Donald Holland, and our sponsors, ResMed and Stryker. So this year, we created VEAT-ADAPT, which is a low-cost portable adaptometer with no disposables, which can be used in the potential screening for vitamin A deficiency in children over 5 and in pregnant women. So vitamin A deficiency is a major public health issue in approximately half of countries worldwide, but is far more prevalent in LMICs, where up to 500,000 children with vitamin A deficiency become blind every single year, and 50% of those children die within 12 months of losing their vision. So an adaptometer tests for night blindness, which can be an early and common indicator for vitamin A deficiency. Many complications from vitamin A deficiency can be reversible if it's caught and treated early enough. So that's what we were targeting. Our idea was to step away from blood tests and needles and disposables and towards a reusable device for the early screening of vitamin A deficiency. Thank you again to everyone at EWH for running this competition. The team really enjoyed this year's project, especially getting to build an initial prototype and getting to visit and test out some industry standard adaptometers. We've really enjoyed taking part in this competition and seeing all the innovative ideas put forward by the other chapters, and we're really excited to see what everyone comes up with next year and in the future.
Thank you again, Aisling. Excellent. And our second place finisher today created a low-cost, odor-proof, anti-leak, and durable colostomy bag of beeswax, resin, fabric, plastic water bottles, and plastic bags. Congratulations to the Locostomy team from Duke University, and we have Joanna Pang here to accept on behalf of the team. Joanna?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I am so pleased to be representing Duke University and particularly my team and the project that we designed, a low-cost colostomy bag, as Cozy mentioned, for patients in low resource settings. I just want to voice how proud I am of our team and the work that we've done together over these past 2 years. I also want to thank our Dr. Satterback. She's been an awesome mentor for us since the inception of the project. And lastly, we are definitely grateful for the opportunity from Engineering World Health in providing students with the opportunities to explore shortcomings in healthcare globally. One of the greatest skills that our team has had to sharpen was learning to empathetically design. We also learned the importance of more peripheral considerations when it comes to design, such as cultural, socioeconomical, and environmental factors. With these principles in mind, our team strived to make a colostomy bag that cost less than 5 cents and was composed of completely natural or recyclable materials, all while maintaining high quality. Our team is excited to continue furthering our project, and our next steps include completing clinical trials in the US regarding the skin reactivity of the novel beeswax-based adhesive used in our design. And we're also going to be submitting an international IRB with Tanzania so that we can complete human trials abroad. So if any of you has experience completing trials abroad or has any advice to give to our team, I'd love to chat with you. All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you so much, Joanna. All right, and our first place finisher this year created a low-cost version of a calmer device to manage premature infants' pain in the NICU. Congratulations to the LMIC Calmer team from Cornell University. And we have Daniel Wittenson here to accept that on behalf of the Cornell team. Daniel.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cozy. Hi, everybody. My name is Daniel Wittenson, and I'm representing the Cornell EWH chapter. It's a huge honor to be accepting this award on behalf of my team. Our team is beyond excited to speak about our design we call Calmer. Our integrative design sub-team conducted research into the high infant mortality rate and poor conditions of neonatal ICUs in many countries. To address this, we developed Calmer, an infant pain management device that mimics kangaroo mother care by simulating breathing motions with a camshaft design and heartbeats with a low frequency speaker. Devices that do something similar are prohibitively expensive. Unlike those devices, Calmer is designed to be used in lower resource NICUs and can be constructed with inexpensive materials and accessible tools. We specifically designed this device with the infrastructure of low resource hospitals in mind, and even worked hand in hand with a hospital in Malawi to guide us in our design. Our incredible integrated design and electrical teams put in weeks worth of work into this project. The level of commitment, skill, and empathy our engineers exercised in creating this design is really difficult to match. As students at a major university, many of us are pressured to pursue lucrative opportunities at major organizations or technology companies. It's very refreshing for us to be surrounded by opportunities and like-minded engineers at EWH that are instead more focused on impact and access, so people across the globe could benefit from the medical technology we have the privilege of having access to. In the coming weeks, our chapter intends to further this mission by searching for new projects. If you happen to know any opportunities for us to apply our design capabilities, please don't hesitate to reach out to our team lead, Alan Lee, myself, or other fantastic members present, including Nick Kola, Justine Burke, Julia Halligan, Shripad Suresh Babu, and Paul Garrell. Also, please feel free to speak to any of us if you'd like to learn more about Calmer. It's been a huge pleasure to be receiving this award, and I'm very grateful for the honor of accepting it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And I do just want to remind everyone that we are having breakout networking rooms at the conclusion of this event, so feel free to stick around. There will be a chapters room. There will also be a summer institutes room, and so that might be a great opportunity for people to connect with each other. And then, as always, if you need to, if you're a participant at this event and you're interested in getting in contact with these awesome college students, feel free to reach out to EWH or them directly, and I can connect you with them as well. And before I would love to just take one moment and just give like a really big round of applause to all of our competition entrants and all of our college chapters and the high school design competition participants. It's really phenomenal to see, university students and high school students so interested in designing for, and I loved the echoing of the designing with empathy in mind. And that's really a beautiful thing, an important thing. I think that we really push for our, people who are interested in our mission. And I'm just elated that that is coming across to our college and high school design and college chapter participants. And before I hand it over to our CEO, Tujan, to introduce our keynote speaker, I also just wanted to take a few moments to highlight EWH's engineering education initiatives in our biomedical kit program. So our biomedical instrumentation kits are used often a lot by our college chapters and outreach programs to foster interest in STEM learning at a young age. And as of 2021, we're also able to supply these kits to classrooms historically underrepresented in STEM for free through generous donations and in support through our kit sales. So in 2022, we've supplied over 700 students with 130 kits in 8 schools across the country. Of those served, 50% of them identify as women and 50% are historically underrepresented in STEM fields. The kits that we donate are reusable, so they're going to be able to be used in these classrooms for year after year. And with the generous support of our donors, we're slated to send an additional 400 kits to classrooms for this school year to reach thousands of more students. So to learn more about our kit program, feel free to visit our website. Like I said, all purchases of our kits go directly into funding our initiative to bring these kits to classrooms for free. And feel free to reach out to kits@engineeringworldhealth.org if you have more questions about our offerings or just interested in our kit program. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to our CEO, Tujan Rahal, to give kind of a summary and introduce our keynote speaker for the day.
That was great. Another round of applause for all the students and the EWH staff. I mean, phenomenal work. And we're so excited to engage high schoolers and elementary students now, and as well as the college students continuously. And again, thank you for all our supporters. And as Cozy said, we have a great speaker coming up for you. So Dr. Corey Lathan is our board member, but she is also CEO of Anthrotronics. She's an author. She is an phenomenal as far as leading in technology and science and STEM and women in STEM. And we're just so excited to have her here. A little bit from her bio. Dr. Lathan works on technology for children with disabilities and has been featured in Forbes, Time, and the New Yorker magazine, as well as gotten the distinction from Maryland's Top Innovator of the Year and one of MIT's Technology Review magazine's Top 100 World Innovators. She has a lot more accolades, and again, I don't want to take more from her time to speak to us today. So without further ado, Dr. Corey Lathan.
Thank you, Tujan. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Perfect. So wonderful to be here with you all today. Congratulations on all the great work this summer and past year. I don't have a lot of time, so let's jump in. I'm Dr. Corey Lathan, and in addition to being a proud board member of Engineering World Health, I'm also the founder and CEO of Anthrotronics, a biomedical engineering research and development company. I'm also the author of an upcoming book, Inventing the Future, Stories from a Techno-Optimist, hence the title of my talk. Next slide, please. I wanted to be an astronaut growing up and loved science fiction and watching Star Trek. So this is I think this was my second grade school picture, and I'm wearing a Star Trek one. I think I was most interested in the technology that enabled the adventures of the Star Trek characters, the medical tricorder, the replicator, the holodeck. I dreamt of living and working in space. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see that in graduate school, I actually got to do experiments in zero gravity for my PhD thesis, which studied how our brains change their processing in space. So I'm going to demonstrate a simple example of this and teach you a fun fact. I'm pretending that we're not in Zoom with our cameras off. So those of you with your cameras on, you have to show me that you're actually going to do this. Put your hand in front of your face and shake it so that it's blurry. Okay. Now stop shaking your hand and shake your head. Does it get as blurry? No, right? Okay. So try that for yourself again. But when you shake your head, when you shake your hand, you're just using your visual system to see. And your visual system is actually very slow. It's a feedback system. So it has to go to the brain, come back, tell your eyes to make a correction. But when you shake your head, you're actually using the signal from your inner ear, which is recording gravity or changes in acceleration. And that's a feed forward system. It immediately tells your eyes to correct. So when you shake your head, your hand doesn't get as blurry. So now what happens if we don't have gravity? What happens when we go to space and we don't have that same signal going to the brain? Your vision actually changes. And in fact, before we went to space, we didn't even know if our bodies would function properly, because not just the inner ear and the balance system changes, but lots of other things change. The good news is we did find out that we can see just fine in space. Our brain adapts, but our visual system does change. And I studied that for my PhD thesis. But without technology, we couldn't explore space, which brings me to my first of 3 points I want to make during this talk. Technology should bridge the gap between what you can do and what you could do. Now, space exploration is a bit of an extreme example, but let me give you a few more examples from my own work, as this principle has guided me for over 20 years. So on the next slide, it's a very busy slide, but it's a lot of my inventions from over the years. And I just want to spend a couple minutes to tell you about them in this context of how technology can bridge the gap between what we can do and what we could do, or what we should be able to do. So for example, Tujan mentioned my work with kids with disabilities. So I started my company with two contracts, one from the Department of Education to help kids gain access to computers. So on the bottom left hand, you'll see Cosmos Learning System. We actually designed an accessible keyboard, so to speak, for kids with disabilities, particularly physical disabilities like cerebral palsy, to access the computer in an innovative way. And we designed a curriculum around that so that kids could access the same curriculum that their neurotypical counterparts could access. So that was Cosmos Learning System. Then if you look at the top right, we have Cosmobot. So Cosmobot was an educational robot that helped teach kids social emotional skills. So for example, when I point at something and say, look at that, doesn't work so well on Zoom, but if you were here with me, you would see that I'm pointing to, my window, and you would actually follow my finger and look at the window. Well, kids with autism or with other developmental delays may not learn those social development skills at the same pace as other kids, and then that delays other developmental skills. So particularly kids with autism have these social emotional delays. And so Cosmobot, the robot, was a non-threatening and patient way to teach these kids some of these goals. So we could actually use Cosmobot to teach our friend Mikey here joint attention. Cosmobot could point at things until Mikey could pay attention to the robot and then do joint attention with the robot. So again, using technology to build social emotional connection, not get in the way of it like some of our technology can do. I'll mention a couple other things. So one of the other contracts I started my company with was looking at not only how we can give kids with disabilities access to technology, but soldiers access to technology. So when a soldier is defusing a bomb, for example, they may not be in a protected location where they can pull out a big computer controller and joysticks. They might actually have to put on, they might be patrolling. And so we designed an instrumented glove so that the soldiers could control the glove while they were patrolling and could actually control the glove without taking their hands off their weapon if need be. So I want to just, I'll leave some of these others. I'll come to the headphones in a moment. I'll just mention the other two technologies very quickly. We continued our work at looking how the brain changes in space, but we did that through new technology. We flew a virtual reality headset so that we could study how the brain changed in space. And then we also developed a way to use a handheld as smartphones became more and more prevalent so that we could track brain health with deployed soldiers. And that led into the field of telemedicine. So I want to use that as a segue to my next point, which is that technology can create an equitable future. Telemedicine is a great example of that. We've had the ability to deploy telemedicine in space, in war zones, in remote areas for a long time, but we haven't leveraged that. And actually, it took COVID, I think, until telemedicine really gained traction. And enabling all of us to benefit from technology, and not just a few of us, is an ongoing challenge, especially in resource-limited countries. But there are several ways to address that, and I just want to mention a few of them. One example is the work you are all part of this summer, putting medical technology into use. Another is tech transfer. Since we've been talking about space, I'll give you some examples from NASA's investment in technology. And technology transfer means investing in technology for one purpose, but using it for others. So some examples of tech transfer from NASA that are very relevant for global health. Low-cost solar cells, water location technology, emergency blankets, otherwise known as the space blanket, ear thermometer, LASIK technology used by eye doctors, prosthetics, cochlear implants, and more. And then the final example about creating an equitable future is something I'll use from my own work in electroceuticals. So electroceuticals is the idea of using electricity instead of chemicals to not only cure illness, but keep us well. This isn't a new idea, and it goes back as far as a Roman court physician who had patients stand on a bioelectronic fish to cure headaches. You may have experienced electricity through a TENS unit, a transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation system to stimulate muscles. Chiropractors use this often for back pain. But the image shown here is representing some of my work on stimulating the vagus nerve to cure diseases like Crohn's or rheumatoid arthritis. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve in the body and is the superhighway of our nervous system, connecting every organ in our body to the brain and back again. And through an interesting remnant of evolution, the vagus nerve comes to the surface at the Simba-concha part of your ear. And we'll do one more demonstration. I'll show you where the Simba-concha is. If you put your finger in your ear, like as if you're trying not to hear me, so block your auricular canal, and then put your other finger right above it and take out your first finger. That's your Simba-concha. And if you look at acupuncture maps, this has been known for thousands of years. It's a key area that accesses your nervous system. And what would be a great way to stimulate the Simba-concha? Headphones. So those were the headphones in my last slide. So I believe that electroceuticals have huge potential to impact global health through displacing or filling the gaps that expensive pharmaceuticals have fallen short. So my final point of the day, last slide, is that we have to exercise our creativity muscle by inventing something every day. And I don't mean a working prototype or something, a working prototype. I mean an idea, a sketch, a conversation. If you're a person who keeps a journal, in addition to writing down what you did today, write down what you made or what you thought about or an idea that you had. Maybe you did that during your summer institute, as every day you were flexing your maker muscle by putting equipment back into service. Think about how you can take that with you as you go back to school or work. Think about how you can flex your maker muscle to continue the journey of using technology to create an equitable future. Thank you. And my last slide has my contact information. Feel free to shoot me an email. If you sign up at inventthefuture.tech, you'll get updates about my book, which should be released in October. And if you send me an email and you want to be a pre-reader, I can send you the whole manuscript before then too. So thank you again and look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much, Corey. That was so great. That was so much. You're amazing, and we're so happy to have you here today. And Corey didn't mention that some proceeds of her book are actually going back to EWH, which I think is phenomenal, and shows her dedication and support to us. So thank you for that. And with that, we've come towards the end of our programming. We do want to thank all of our donors and partners. These are just a few of them. We have also the family and friends of Lynn Fisher who helped us launch the Lynn Fisher Fund, which has truly made such a huge impact on integrating local students into our programs. We also have several individual donors who prefer to stay anonymous. Thank you for your support. And again, all the corporations and other nonprofits have teamed up with us to provide all the work we're doing, including what we just highlighted, which is our big summer institutes. We're so excited that we're back post-COVID, traveling and repairing so much equipment. And I believe the total we had was about about $1 million worth of equipment was repaired this summer by our students. So thank you all again so much. And if you want to continue to support our work or continue to hear more from us, there's a link in the chat box that Cozy just posted. So please go for that. We will be opening breakout rooms if you want to hang out with us longer to just meet anyone. I'll stay here in the main room as the general, and then we have not the general, but as a general discussion. And we